next, we have Trevor Walker. He's the president CEO of Frontier Lithium, and they classify themselves as a lithium and chemicals company. Also an interesting aspect of the whole energy space as well, because mining companies are not mining companies anymore, and I'm sure Trevor is going to touch on that. After that, we have EMX and South Star Battery Metals, so make sure to stay tuned for that as well. And Trevor, it's my pleasure to welcome you now on the stage. Good morning.
Thanks. Good morning, Kai, or good afternoon, depending on the location. Thanks. So
6:47 a.m. here in Vancouver. So wonderful. Good morning.
Hopefully you're off to a great start. So thanks very much for having us on today.
Great pleasure. Great pleasure. Start sharing your screen and let's dive right on in.
You see it, Kai?
Perfect. Yeah, appreciate that.
Great. So thanks again. My name is Trevor Walker. I'm president and CEO of Frontier Lithium. Frontier Lithium is a TSX Venture OTC QX listed company that is developing its 100% owned PAC lithium project in northwestern Ontario, Canada. The company is focused on leveraging North America's highest grade lithium resource and one of the largest to become a fully integrated producer, as Kai mentioned, of premium lithium chemicals, obviously driven largely by the rapidly growing battery supply chain for EVs. Some forward-looking statements. I'll be talking about the future, which just be forewarned with some this cautionary note. Frontier at its core, I joined the company in late 2009. With me, I brought a focus on rare metals, or what I call the pixie dusts, that are required, ultimately to make the metals lighter, and now in our case here, the batteries with higher energy and lighter to push vehicles to those distances that Europeans and North Americans like to travel. We're really old school miners at heart, and we have the luxury of working on a really high quality resource. And really the reality is there's very few assets that truly participate or are considered the anchor assets around the world supplying lithium. There's a lot of stories, there's a lot of noise. We are working on an asset that compares quite nicely to those incumbents, or again, anchor resources that supply. We think a lot about the best batteries. When you have quality, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's important to be aligned for where the best batteries in the world are. And we believe that the high nickel cathode, so lots of nickel in the best batteries. And in order to be a part of that mix, it's our goal and a requirement actually to produce lithium hydroxide. We've shown in the lab scale to produce really high quality concentrates, and concentrates are really the key ingredient in order to produce chemicals. In fact, also the largest or highest cost of chemical is that feedstock. We've proven to produce really high end, so good in fact that can be used from part of our resource directly into high end glass. We have a great location in northwestern Ontario. We're proximate to the US and EU markets. We put out a PEA about 3-4 months ago. It's essentially $1 billion project, just shy of $1 billion USD NPV. And that's based on fully integrated mine, mill, downstream chemical plant. Ontario is a great location, rich in processing expertise. And I'd like to add that our management has our skin in the game. Management's close to 30% position in the company. Our market capitalization ranges from 150 to $200 million Canadian on the TSX Venture. We did some financing a couple months ago, raised about $12 million. So we're well financed through to complete our endeavors and our programs over the next 12 months very comfortably. and also to work into the early steps of next level DFS when the PFS is complete. Really, what's a great opportunity is, don't want to harp too much on the markets. It's great that the market's becoming very aware and what's required, and the reality that there's been a lack of investment in the upstream to supply the critical mineral raw materials, lithium, of course, being the poster child there. Reality is we see 35 to 45% growth year on year. 3 times over the next 5 years, and it's batteries are the main driver for this, and that requirement of lithium to produce the best batteries, ultimately to supply this new order of lowering greenhouse gases and CO2 emissions. Quickly into the market now. Half the world's lithium hydroxide is produced from converting carbonates into hydroxide. Those carbonates from brine sources, roughly 55% of the lithium supply in the world, they have to undergo about a $1,500 conversion cost from carbonate to hydroxide. So herein lies a great advantage for Frontier Lithium with spodumene resource in northwestern Ontario to directly produce from high quality concentrates direct into hydroxide. Grade is king, and we have the luxury of 2 deposits in our resource, 2 open pit deposits that are the highest grade deposits in North America. The PAC deposit at just over 2% lithium oxide, and the Spark deposit, a larger, a little bit lower grade, 1.6%. Grade is king, and what we say is widths of an ore body are queen. These 2 deposits are the widest resource in North America. They rank quite nicely with the mother of all hard rock lithium deposits, the Greenbushes in southwestern Australia, for many that would be familiar with the lithium market. So this story around Frontier is really about meat and potatoes. It's not taking huge technology risks. This is about a resource that's very similar in mineralogy and composition to those anchor resources around the world. The PIEA that I referenced shows a 26-year project life. We use 20,000 tons lithium carbonate equivalent per year. Total capital requirement of about $685 million. That's to build the fully integrated. We actually took a phased approach, so build, mine, mill, first 2 years, operate, produce concentrates, while that's taking place, building the downstream chemical plant. So that phased approach is the right approach and brings the risk profile down quite a bit. So ultimately, the economics are compelling. There's over a 20% post-tax IRR, and that again is based on 2 really robust, I'd like to add, open in all directions. So the upside to increase the resource base is very, very significant. What's really important is alignment as jurisdictions around the world compete to try and build the entire value chains around critical minerals. The project is really an important project here for the province of Ontario. It's what we call the convergence of 4 main policies and guidelines in action. Critical minerals, connecting the north, so that's building as we see Ontario start to invest infrastructure money on building the far north, and obviously working with in alignment with the economic prosperity. Auto manufacturing is a mainstay and a big portion of GDP here in the province. And, our first partners, our Indigenous communities that are in the immediate area of our project. So this is really becoming a critical project that is really, really important for Ontario. The two deposits, the PAC deposit is 10 million, just shy of 10 million tons, 2%. The iron content, which is a key proxy for impurities, is less than 0.1%. So to find a resource of 10 million tons that's still open, that's entirely low grade, that is really ranks quite nicely to, again, the Greenbushes deposit in Australia. We're producing concentrates in the lab and representative samples that compare quite nicely with Albemarle's premium products, and that's a testament to quality. The Spark is about double the size, 20 million tons, about 1.6%. It's still open. As a part of our advancing pre-feasibility work, we're conducting infill drilling on Spark. Recently, we put out what, to our knowledge, is the best drill hole intersection ever drilled in North America. 340 meters, averaging just below 1.7% lithium oxide. There's more results coming in the near future, and in about a week, the diamond drill commences turning again to finish off our infill and geotechnical drilling to support PFS, DFS. The area in this corridor of this premium spodumene in North America is referenced now as the Electric Avenue. There's 4 discoveries, 2 of which, of course, we discussed are deposits. We have not even drilled the tip of the iceberg yet. We have not begun the grassroots exploration. So the fact that there's 4 discoveries, 2 of deposits, just is a testament to the upside and potential. This is a really significant corridor for, again, North America's highest quality spodumene. Garbage in, garbage out. Made reference to the concentrates, compare quite favorably to Tianqi, Albemarle's high quality technical grade that's used directly into high-end glass for companies such as Corning and Schott in Germany. So we're very aware of that market, and we have that optionality of producing technical grade. But again, this is a testament to high quality. So quality is going to pay for the chemicals. It does pay for the chemicals. So to have this as the starting block or foundation is really exciting for us. We are currently performing a scoping study. It's really critical to understand which process and technology that bring confidence that we can rely on. We're conducting works at various levels of progress, from bench scale to mini pilot on both alkaline and sulfate routes. We've recently added a former chief scientist from Tianqi Lithium, spent about 10 years there, from relevant industry experience. The reality is there's very few with real experience, hands-on experience that have produced battery quality chemicals. So we're really fortunate to have our VP technology with that experience. So again, within the next 3-4 months, we'll be making a decision on process that'll be utilized commercially. Right now, in terms of infrastructure, a key project that we have seen unfold over the past few years is a high voltage transmission line that actually is being built right over our project called the Wate Power Project. There's an image here I've put up that was taken in March during our drill program of the right-of-way, and that's part of the existing winter road on high ground. So fiber optics power is being put in right now. We've actually initiated in close chat with the Ontario government. We've just initiated a scoping study and risk assessment to then add in the final leg of that stool, the all-season infrastructure or all-season road into the area for the benefit of the communities and our project. So we're really excited about that. It's great that we're right at just the tip of the far north, but the spend is happening right now. So
fantastic. Trevor, I do have to jump in here, unfortunately.
Yeah,
15 minutes. Oh, final slide. Go ahead. Just 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, just in shift. Investment around the world is shifting from cash to value-focused criteria. Ontario is positioned quite well with the raw materials of the north, and in Canada, at the northern extent of the Ottawa Valley in the U.S. With the OEMs. So Ontario's got a 96% zero carbon energy. We're positioned very well. So really excited to tell the story here today and open to your questions. Sorry if I overran by a couple minutes.
No, we do have to move on, but I have one last question that you can answer in 1 second. From today to production, how long?
Right now,
ideal world, funding in place and everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the builds in our Gantt chart right now could take place in 2024. Our range right now to put the conservative hat on is 2024 to 2026.
Yeah. No, I'm like my point is I'm trying to make like you can't switch it on like that. It takes time, like overall, like for the industry, and I think that's the message I'm trying to get across with SF Online with our session today, that we are in the early days of what is happening in the market, and that it takes time to fill the supply side to get it to a certain level that makes sense to even talk about going full electric. And that's my point.
We started the first drill hole in 2013. I've always referenced this as an evolution, not a revolution. So couldn't agree with you more.
Fantastic. Trevor, we have to move on. Really appreciate you coming on. Definitely one of the top tier projects in the lithium space. It's in Canada. It ticks a lot of the boxes.